Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. From the title of this video, you already know that I decided to see how many pages I read in a week. I was surprised in the best way. I had no idea that I actually would have read this many pages in 1 week, considering all the busy things that happen with life and family and kids and just all of the above, okay? So this is my very first what I read in a week reading vlog, and I feel like I had such a great time with this. It's nice to sit down and reflect and see realistically how many pages I read, given the fact that I'm a wife, a busy mom, I have kids, all the school things, all the busyness of life itself, and I still manage to read so much. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a really great time filming it. We will circle back towards the end of the vlog and I will give you the statistics and go over all of the pages that I read. It's 9:15 and it's currently Tuesday. I'm actually very excited about this vlog because I feel like lately I've been reading over 100 pages a day, and I feel like that is a huge deal for me considering all the other things I do throughout the week, including homework with the kids, carpool, just the busyness of mom life in general. So I'm very excited to see what I end up reading by the end of the week. I wanted to start this vlog on Monday because, you know, I wanted to do Monday through Sunday, but life happened. We had a book fair to go to with the kids yesterday, so it ended up not working out. But here we are, it's Tuesday. I'm very excited about this. So let me just tell you what I'm currently reading right now. I'm reading the second book in the Aurora series. I don't even know if that's what it's called, but it's the second book. It's a book that comes right after Trial of the Sun Queen. So I'm currently reading Rule of the Aurora King. You can't really see it because I don't have it set to like show the covers of the books. I'm on page 331 of that book and I am 64% through it. So I plan on finishing this in the next couple of days. And then I'm also reading Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli, and I'm on page 186, 40% through it. Both of these books are really good. I really like where this series is going, and I also like how this book is so far. I'm enjoying it a lot. This is a very good, not a very good, but this is a good example of enemies to lovers, forbidden romance. The enemiesness is still there, and I'm just along for the ride, and I'm having the best time. It's Tuesday, so I don't have a lot going on. I really don't have a lot going on throughout the week. I'm just a girl who likes to read a lot when given every spare moment, okay? I barely watch TV, so you guys are gonna see me read a lot because that's exactly what I do when I'm not busy with the kids. That's all I do. That is my hobby. That is my life. I'm currently doing laundry right now, and I'm planning on... I think I'll probably pick this up later on tonight and read it on my Kindle. In the meantime, I want to read more of this because it's getting so good. I'm telling you, I'm just... yeah. I can't wait. So I'm gonna make myself something to eat and then I will listen to this and then read along with this while I'm eating my breakfast. I will check back in with you throughout the day to give you my thoughts and opinions on what I'm reading. Probably by the end of the day, I'll try to make this a habit where I check in with you and let you know what I read that day in total for the 2 books. Okay, so it's been a few hours now. I had a light breakfast. I did some laundry, folded some laundry, and then I sat back down on the couch to read more of Rebel Witch. I already have read 70 pages. And I only have 3 hours and 58 minutes left before I finish this book. So most likely I will be finishing this book today. Isn't that crazy? I am waiting for my parents to get home. They're just coming back from a doctor's appointment. What we've been doing lately every week is we've been having tea time. I'll make like a yummy pastry and we'll have some really good tea and then we'll just hang out, and I think it's like the best thing ever. I don't know if you guys are aware, but if you've been following me a while, in some of my vlogs I did show that part of my backyard was under construction, and that was because my husband was building a casita for my parents. Well, fast forward a year later, the casita's already built and done, and my parents are now full-time living there, which is nice. It's nice to have them so close to me. So I figured this would be a nice way to bond with them, because I do throughout the week when I have the kids at school and I have to pick them up and we do homework and there's a routine throughout the week, I thought it would be a good idea to do a tea and pastries with my parents once a week. It's been a few days and I usually do it on Wednesday. Since today's Tuesday, my dad has been making tea and then I've been coming over there and we've been just hanging out and drinking tea together and having maybe a buttered toast. I think it's really nice. I'm currently waiting for them to come home. We're gonna hang out, we're gonna do tea time, and then I'm going to come back, order some lunch. I'll have maybe an hour left of this book before I have to pick up the kids from school. And usually while I'm on my way to pick them up, I like to listen to the book on my way there. So that is my update. I'm just impressed that it's only been a few hours, and it's not counting when I was blow drying my hair because today was hair wash day. I normally listen to my audiobook as I'm getting ready for the day, but I didn't do it today, and I still have managed to read 70 pages. That's insane. Hello, it is now Wednesday. Welcome back to my kitchen. So, I ended up reading 189 pages of Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. That is all I read yesterday. This is it. Could I have read more? Yes. I was a little distracted. Last night, but that's okay. I have like an hour and something minutes left of it, so I will be finishing this today before I pick up the kids. And then after that, I will probably continue reading Rule of the Aurora King by Nisha J. Tooley. I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of dark. I also want to start a new book, but I don't know at this point if I should start a new fantasy book or if I should start this book that I literally just purchased on my Kindle that was released yesterday. And I normally don't purchase books on my Kindle. I use my Kindle more like a library. The paperback of this book, because it's a brand new release, was like $18. So I really did not want to spend $18 on a book that's a paperback that's not even over 400 pages. My rule is if it's a brand new release and it's over 400 pages or at least minimum 400 pages, then I would spend $17 or $18 on a paperback. But if it's a release and it's under 400 pages and it's still that steep of a price, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna spend that much money on a paperback. Instead, I'm gonna buy it on my Kindle, and it was only $10 on my Kindle, $10.99. The book that I'm talking about is Book Boyfriend by Emily Wimberly and Austin Sigmund Broca. This is a married couple, which I think is so freaking cute, who write books together. They wrote The Roughest Draft, I think it was called, another contemporary romance that I absolutely loved, despite what anybody else says about that book. I enjoy that book so much. I feel like the way that they wrote that book was just incredible. And their story is so cute too. This is a bookish book, a bookish contemporary romance about a girl who goes to a town, I think, and is literally living her romance dream, her favorite romance novel. And her book boyfriend is her book boyfriend, basically. So I think I want to start this. I want to start something light, and then I will continue Rule of the Aurora King soon. I just feel like after reading so many fantasies, I feel like I need to probably read a rom-com. So that's probably what I'll start today. And I already have the audiobook on my Libby app. I'm sorry. I freaking love getting free audiobooks, okay? Best feeling ever. So yeah, that is probably my plan for today. I will let you know the next time I have an update. I finished Rebel Witch. What a good way to end this series. What an incredible series. This was a 5-star. Hands down, this was a 5-star. The last few chapters of this book, I was on the edge of my seat, on the verge of crying because there were so many things going on. I was about to, I swear, I was telling myself the entire time that if this book doesn't end the way that I want it to end, I am going to be so upset and disappointed. You know what? Throughout this book, I was telling myself, this is so damn good. I don't know why this is only a duology. Why couldn't it have been a trilogy? I feel like there was more to the story. I feel like there could have been way more. This was so good. So good, you guys. I am so happy that I finished it this month. Yeah, overall, I think the first book I gave a 4 or a 4.5. It was slower paced for me and it took me a while, 100 and something pages to get into it. But this was so good. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that to you. Wow, what a great ending. What a great ending to a duology. Without saying much, this was a 5-star. It's 1:43. I leave the house at 2:30 to go pick up the kids from school. So I have under an hour to start my next book, which is going to be Book Boyfriend by Emily Wilberly and Austin Sigmund Broca. I have high hopes for this. I hope I really like it. I am in the mood for a palate cleanser, but a super cute, sweet, contemporary romance, and this one's bookish themed, so that's gonna be even better. Also, this month I read First Time Caller, and let me freaking tell you, that book was so incredibly good. So freaking good. I want to read something else like that, but I don't think I'm gonna get that in this one. I think this one's just gonna be fun and cutesy. I'm already on chapter 4 of Book Boyfriend. It's so good. It's so good already. So good. We have a very sarcastic FMC, which I really love that about her. I love her dry humor and sarcasm. It is so good. We have an enemy colleague, so it's probably an enemies to lovers. The way that this book starts, she literally gets dumped by her boyfriend of 6 months. She is on her way to an actual reenactment of one of her favorite fantasy series of all time. There she finds her worst enemy, which is her colleague, Scott Daniels, whom she had no idea that even reads those kind of books. Oh my gosh, this could be another 5-star read. I'm currently in the middle of cleaning the house. It's Friday. I did not get to update you guys yesterday at all. I have so much to update you on regarding my reading and how many pages I've read. I feel like yesterday has been one of the biggest reading days for me, considering everything else I do. I don't even know how I managed to read so much yesterday, but I'm so proud of myself. Anyways, I have a bone to pick. I'm listening to The Book Boyfriend right now, okay? Tell me why the third act breakup that just happened was so unnecessary and so stupid. So stupid. Unnecessary, stupid. I just can't believe, okay, this book started off so strong because there were so many bookish themes in it, so much bookish content, so many bookish puns. And then once I started getting to the 3-hour left mark of the book, I was just getting tired of the repetitiveness of every other sentence being so bookish. And here I am, a person that loves these kind of books. This one to me has a little bit too much. It's getting to the point where okay, does every joke and every other reference have to be bookish? And this is so crazy that I'm saying that because usually I love this stuff, but I feel like this book overdoes it. Not only that, I'm very disappointed because this book started off so strong. It was going to be a 5-star for me. Hands down. But now we get this ridiculous, stupid, out of nowhere, freaking third act breakup. And it's the dumbest thing ever. The FMC does not have any trauma background, does not have a reason to do what she does to the MMC. And I'm just I almost feel like the authors just threw that in there to make it more dramatic, but it's backfired completely, at least for me, because it's so unnecessary. It does nothing to the story, and it's the dumbest third act breakup I've ever read in my life. Not trying to be negative Nancy, but this book will probably be a 3-star. It was going to be a 5, then it went down to a 4.5, then I was thinking a 3.5 because I'm still enjoying it, and now that dumb Just so petty and stupid third act breakup. I'm so sorry, you guys. It's probably going to be a 3. You're going to have to bear with me with this lighting, okay? It is now 9 o'clock at night, and I finally am getting a chance to sit here and talk to you guys about how many pages I've been reading, what I currently started, what I've currently been reading lately. I am so tired, you guys. Like, I've had such a long, drained day. I'm not going to go into details, but I've had such a long day. Anyways, let's reverse. Let's go back in time, because I don't think after Wednesday, I don't think I've actually updated you as far as how many pages I've read and so on. So on Wednesday, I ended up finishing Crimson Moth. I gave that book a 5. I think I did tell you guys that. I don't remember, but I gave that book a 5-star. It was amazing. So then I continued to read Book Boyfriend. In total, I read 87 pages of not Crimson Moth, 87 pages of Rebel Witch, finishing the book. I finished the book, so I read 87 pages of that, and then I read 92 pages of Book Boyfriend. So in total, for Wednesday, I ended up reading 179 pages, which is awesome. This is coming from somebody that used to barely read books, to then only read like 20 pages a day, to then only read 50 pages a day, to finally last year getting up to reading 100 pages a day, and now I'm reading 100 plus pages a day. Like, it's just so incredibly insane to me that I make time to do that. I still have a life. I have a busy schedule with the kids and my husband and the day-to-day things that we do, and still I have managed to never take away time from my family, but still indulge and enjoy reading to the max. Like, I read so much. It is insane to me that I have successfully found time to do this and not neglect my responsibilities, not neglect my family, not neglect anything. Nobody gets less attention, and I still read a lot. You just wait until I tell you what I've read yesterday, okay? So Wednesday, I ended up reading 179 pages. Yesterday, which was Thursday, I finished Rule of the Aurora King, and I think I gave that book a 4. And if I'm repeating myself, I'm so sorry, you guys. I haven't looked back on these video clips yet, so bear with me if I'm repeating myself. But I finished Rule of the Aurora King, and I think I gave that a 4. This series is very fun, but I think the only book that's getting a 5 so far is the first book, just because it was so quick paced. I was so immersed into the world. It got my attention. It got me out of my little reading slump I was going through. So I gave that a 4 because it was still enjoyable, but I'm like, okay. I didn't start the third book in the series because now apparently the third book and the fourth book are not available on Kindle Unlimited yet. So I was like cringing on the fact that I might have to buy it, and I would rather probably buy it on my Kindle than purchase the paperback, because given my experience with the first book in the series, the paperback is just not floppy, it's tight, and it's kind of uncomfortable to hold. Therefore, I'd just rather read it on my Kindle. So I paused on that, and I told myself I need a little break, but I don't want to read Book Boyfriend, right? So on Thursday, I ended up reading, this is so insane, 151 pages of Book Boyfriend. I finished Rule of the Aurora King, giving me 154 pages read. Then I ended up starting Red Queen, and we'll talk about how many pages, but I ended up starting Red Queen, and I'm already on chapter 11, and this literally feels like a lot of it. How should I say this? This is the reason why Powerless was born, right? We all know this. But there's a lot of similarities. Now that I'm reading this, there is a lot of similarities in this book that you will see in Powerless. And I'm not talking negative about it. I'm loving it. However, I feel like a narrator can make or break your experience with a book. And unfortunately, if the narrator is very monotone and very like there's no personality, it is hard to immerse myself in the story itself. But the story and the plot and the premise of the book is very good. It's, I'm telling you, it's Powerless all over again, except I think Powerless is better. It could be because powerless narrators are amazing, but I'm just saying. In this book, we're following Mare, and in this world, we have two different types of people. We have the Reds, which are the people that live in the slums and carry no magic, and then we have the Silvers, which are the people that are born with magic, therefore they are treated and act like gods. For some reason, Mare, even though she is a Red, known to not have any powers, for some reason power is awakened within her, and so soon she's forced into the Silver world, where she is forced and kind of kidnapped into marrying one of the princes in order to keep this little magic secret of hers from getting around in the kingdom, and the story goes from there. I'm not giving the synopsis any justice. Like the back of the book, this is exactly what it says. Mare Barrow's world is divided by blood, those with red and those with silver. Mare and her family are lowly Reds destined to serve the silver elite, whose supernatural abilities make them nearly gods. When Mare accidentally discovers a power of her own she didn't know she had, the Silver King is forced to hide the impossibility of her power and pretend she's a long-lost silver princess betrothed to one of his sons. Soon Mare is drawn into the silver world, where loyalty and desire can tear you apart and the only certainty is betrayal. And before long, her actions put into motion a deadly and violent dance, pitting prince against prince and Mare against her own heart. So there's probably, like Powerless, a little bit of a love triangle, so I'm here for it. But it is a little bit harder for me to get into just because of the narrator. There's only one narrator, and also because even though this was published first, I feel like this is like Powerless is better. And I'm not trying to be mean, but like I just feel like it was done a little better. But I could be completely wrong, because this is where Powerless came from, where it was inspired. But dang, the fact that there's so many similarities in this, it's kind of crazy. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, so I'm reading that, and we'll get into how many pages I read of that. And then I also kind of wanted to start something else on my Kindle, because I wanted to read on my Kindle, and Red Queen is not on Kindle Unlimited. Every time I'm looking for any kind of recommendations, I just go on TikTok and I just randomly start looking for recommendations. For me, I always find the best ones. So I ended up starting Cinder by Marissa Mayer. Okay, this is part of the Lunar Chronicles. I think this series is a lot older, an old school beloved series that now I'm finally discovering. And it makes me feel so nerdy, because I feel like this is something I would have read in 5th grade or something. I don't know if it was like published that long ago. I am now discovering it and I'm enjoying it. And so this is a series of books that have fairy tale princess retellings. So the first one's called Cinder, and it's about Cinderella. They're reimaginings, they're retelling of the beloved Disney story. But what's so incredibly unique about this one that I've never read before, even though I haven't read a lot of retellings, and hence Cinderella, if you didn't know, is my favorite like Disney movie of all time, like Disney story of all time. It's my favorite. What is very incredibly interesting about this is that it's sci-fi fantasy. They're set in the future where technology is super advanced. Our FMC, Cinder, is actually a cyborg, and there's actually a plague going on that's making people sick, and it's dystopian. And that, to me, like, I've been into dystopian books. This one also is dystopian. Ember and Ashes is dystopian. I think also These Infinite Threads by Sahara Mafi, I think that's the title. These Infinite Threads. That was also dystopian. So I love a good dystopian fantasy. I feel like it's just so much better. There's so many things going on. The stakes are higher. The romance is always better. Like, everything about dystopian books are just it for me. Like, I freaking love them. If you guys know any more dystopian fantasy books, please send them my way, because I eat that shit up every single time. I ran into a couple of people raving about the series. It's got found family, dystopian, it's fantasy, there's slow burn romance in here, it's YA. I love YA a lot. I feel like because YA cannot provide steam and spice in their books, their angst and their pining and their tension is just 10 times better, as if you were actually reading a steamy romantasy or a steamy book. I think that YA does it better. You know, because they have to rely on that in order to make the reader fall in love with the romance or with the characters themselves and their romance, basically. What's also interesting too is that I think as the series goes on, you get introduced to Cinder, then the next one I think is Rapunzel, and somehow their worlds intertwine. They somehow meet and become friends in part of the story, and then the story keeps continuing on and on. So I'm very interested. This is totally different. I have no idea where I left off, but my battery died. So what I was trying to say is that this is just so unique. I've never read any type of retelling or reimagining like this, and I think all these different parts and elements of Cinder being a cyborg, way into the future, we have a plague going on, it's dystopian. It's just so freaking interesting to me, and it's fast-paced. I'm already on chapter 4, and it's good. It's very good so far, so I'm really enjoying myself with this. So let's get back to how many pages I read. Like I was saying, I read 151 pages of Book Boyfriend yesterday, Thursday. I read Rule of the Aurora King, which I ended up finishing, and I read 154 pages of that. Red Queen, I read 12 pages, and then Cinder, I read 25 pages. So in total, I read 342 pages yesterday. 342 pages. That's a freaking book. When have I ever literally, like, I finished a book in one day, but like I feel like it was less than 24 hours that I read an entire book. And again, this is between carpool, homework, scheduling, laundry, cleaning, everything that you can imagine, I did. And then I still read. Like that is insane to me. Mind you, like, I don't really, like, when I have free time, I don't really go on TikTok a lot. I only go to get my, like, book recommendations. I don't really watch a lot of TV anymore. Every time I tell myself I'm gonna watch a movie or a show, I feel guilty because I'm like, I could be reading, I could be finishing another book because I love it that much. It's not because I'm making myself do it for content. I'm just doing it because I love it. But that's just freaking insane. I used to think that people that read that much are not real. You know, like, I'm here to tell you that it's totally possible. It's totally possible. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Anyways, that is how much I read yesterday. I'm curious to see how much I read tonight because I'm still reading. So I will give you an update probably sometime tomorrow. We do have a busy schedule tomorrow. We have a birthday party to go to, and then we have to go run some errands. So we have a busy day. So I will check back in when I can. Listen. It's Tuesday. Just kidding. It's Monday. I have not been on here for a few days. I've just had a busy week, and honestly, I'm kind of in like this weird book slump again. Okay, let's talk about just some of the books that I've tried to pick up and put down, and just my overall readings, my overall pages I've read. Okay. So I think I left off on Thursday that I told you guys I read a total of 342 pages. It's probably going to be the biggest day of the week for me in this reading week vlog. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to top that just because I've been underwhelmed with the previous books that I've started, that I have yet to finish. Like, I've been just so underwhelmed, and I don't want to pick anything up. So on Friday, I ended up reading a total of 270 pages. So I read and finished Book Boyfriend, and again, I didn't really get on here to tell you guys what I felt about that book. I gave it a 3. That book started off so strong with all the bookish themes. Basically a book that I would absolutely devour and love because of all the bookish content that it has. However, it was too much. It was overkill. It was just felt like it was very forced. And the third act breakup in this book was just so stupid and unnecessary. Like, I'm sorry. What? Why? You know, like, it was just so dumb. Therefore, that book was a 3-star, unfortunately. And then I decided to read a little bit more of Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and I only read 97 pages of this, and I just feel like this book is so slow, like so unnecessarily slow, and I have no idea why. I feel like I find myself comparing it a lot with Powerless, and even though this book was published first, Powerless was better. I'm just so sorry. Like, if you guys really love this series, I totally understand why, but like, I'm having a hard time getting through the first book. and I want to finish it because I know it has potential, but why is it so slow? And it doesn't grip me the same way as Powerless does. Like, I feel like it doesn't top Powerless, and it should, because this was the reason why Powerless was created, and I yet to have that feeling of, you know, like, anyways, this is a 5-book series, and I think the books literally get bigger as the series progresses, but like, I'm having the worst time with book 1. I don't really see, like, I'm having a hard time connecting with the characters in this world and what's happening, and when the love interest is introduced, I just don't care. I don't really care about the romance either, so I don't know, you guys, what this one's future beholds. Like, I don't know. I then decided to read a little bit more of Cinder. I think that, like, my age bracket for this series has been, like, past due. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think this is a series for me. I'm having such a hard time following along. Like, I'm having such a hard time understanding it and being interested in it. This book has such a cool concept, and it's such a great twist on, like, Cinderella as a story, but, like, I don't care, you know? Like, it's hard for me to even believe the little romance that's going on within this story at this point, because it's just, I don't know. Again, it's one of those books that has potential, or maybe I'm just not a sci-fi girly, like maybe I just don't like it because of those themes, but I just really found myself bored and not caring and just trying to get through the words of this book, and that to me tells me that this is probably not for me. So I don't know, maybe I'll continue it, I just don't know, but for now it's a softie and F. Saturday, I read a total of 127 pages. I read 59 pages of Cinder, so I still gave it a little bit of a chance. And then I decided to start From Storm and Shadows by Rachel Morgan. This book, I just ran into it on TikTok. It's described as a very fun, good YA fantasy with enemies to lovers vibes, a fae living in a human world who happened to escape her fae world because her parents were murdered. She happened to escape her death that day, and so she goes into the human world and plans living the rest of her days as a human, pretending to be a human, just so that she could be safe, until one day she is part of like this fighting match. She does these like fights that she gets paid for, like underground fighting. She ends up encountering or fighting with her nemesis, her rival, which happens to be her best friend, who in her past tried to eliminate her the day of her parents' murders. And the story goes from there. And I'm telling you, like, there is nothing going on in this story. They're having, you know, adventures, and they're going through these things together, and they find out that, I just don't want to say much, but they find out that there's something that they need to find in order to eliminate something. And it's just, there is no pining, there's no angst, there's no tension, is there supposed to be a romantasy? Are they supposed to be in love with each other, but there's nothing to show for it? I don't know. It's just, I've invested a few hundred pages in this book. I think I'm on page, nah, not really. I'm only on page 98, 24% through the book. And it's so boring. I don't know, you guys. It's not doing anything for me. I started that book on Saturday and I read 68 pages of that. And that's it, okay, for that. Then on Sunday, I only read a total of 76 pages because we had another birthday to go to, and we've just had a busy weekend throughout February. So I only read 70 pages. I've read 30 pages of From Storm and Shadow. Still trying to truck along with this one. And then I finally decided to pick back up Furyborn by Claire Legrand. Now this one I softy and F'd at the beginning of the month because it was just so dang slow for me, and it was just hard for me to connect with this world and the characters and what the plot is essentially. But now I will say that I'm on page 244 and I am very interested in what's going on, because I know that in this world, even though these two queens are living centuries apart, I feel like the story is now woven into each other and their lives are going to intertwine with each other somehow. And that's what I'm interested in finding out, is how is this possible when they live centuries apart? You know, so it's picking up, it's interesting. Hopefully my library hold on this audiobook is due soon, like in 2 days. So hopefully I can finish it before my library hold is up, you know, but yeah, this is grabbing my attention enough to want to continue to read it. So I'll probably end this vlog reading, or at least trying to finish this book. I read 46 pages of that, and that was yesterday. We have today and we have Tuesday before we end this vlog. I'm curious to see how many pages I read within the week. I believe I've already finished 2 or 3 books in this vlog, and that is really dang good for the week. Okay, so there you have it. That is the end of the vlog. I tried my very best to come on camera towards the end of the day and kind of give you a little bit of an update as far as how many pages I read and what books I was reading, but I failed. I couldn't do that because it was becoming too much towards the end. So here I am wrapping this vlog up. Let's go over the statistics. So let's start from the beginning of the week, shall we? As you know, I started the vlog on a Tuesday and I ended up making it from Tuesday to the following Tuesday just to give me ample time to read more. I specifically wanted to do it this way because I wanted to make sure that I got a full week's worth of reading and what realistically it looks like for me. On Tuesday, I ended up reading 189 pages of Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli, and I regret nothing. This was so good. Such a good way to begin the video. You all saw that I was in the middle of a few books. Reading that week was just so fun. On Wednesday, I ended up finishing Rebel Witch, reading 87 pages of that. Then I ended up starting Book Boyfriend by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund-Broca. We all know how I feel about that book, but I did read 92 pages of that with a total of 192 pages read on Wednesday. Thursday was literally my biggest reading day of the entire week. I could not fathom the fact that I actually read this many pages. So I did finish book 2 in the Artifacts of Aurora series, Rule of the Aurora King by Nisha J. Tooley. I read 154 pages of that. I also did finish Book Boyfriend, and I ended up reading 151 pages of that. I did start Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I only read 12 pages of that on Thursday. I did end up reading 25 pages of Cinder, book 1 of the Lunar Chronicles series. That book was okay, but I did read 12 pages of it. In total, on Thursday, I ended up reading 342 pages. 342 pages. That is insane. That is crazy to me. And I still got everything I wanted to get done. I'm still in shock that I read that much in one day. I thought I finished Book Boyfriend on Thursday, but I didn't. I did end up reading 151 pages of that. I don't know if I stated that, but I thought I finished it and I didn't. I didn't finish it that day. Friday, finished Book Boyfriend. 133 pages read. I read 97 pages of Red Queen. I read 40 pages of Cinder, giving me a total of 270 pages read on Friday. Saturday was my busy day. On the weekends, it's literally very busy for me. We run errands. I spend more time with family, so I didn't read too much, but I read enough. I read 59 pages of Cinder, started book 1 in the Storm Phase series from Storm and Shadow, and I ended up reading 68 pages of that, giving me a total of 127 pages read on Saturday. Then on Sunday, I jumped back into Furyborn by Claire Legrand, and I ended up reading 46 pages of this, 30 pages of Storm and Shadow, giving me a total of only 76 pages read that day. On Monday, I really only read Furyborn with 192 pages read that day. That is it. That is all I read that day. And finally, on Tuesday, I ended up finishing Furyborn, reading 47 pages. I started Malice by John Gwynne, and I read 42 pages of that, giving me a total of 89 pages that I read on Tuesday. So these are all the books that I read for that week. I did end up reading a lot on my Kindle, which made it very possible to read as many pages as I did. I also listened while I was driving to pick up the kids from school, while I was doing anything around the house. I did up listening to the audios as well. I feel like for my first What I Read in a Week vlog, I feel like this was such a successful reading experience for me and an eye-opener as well, because I had no idea that I could possibly realistically read that much, given how busy my life can be sometimes. So in total, I ended up finishing 4 books in that vlog. I ended up reading 1,464 pages. In 1 week. 1 week, you guys. That is freaking fantastic for me. You know what? I think I'm gonna be doing this more often in the future just because it was so fun. I didn't take it too serious, and realistically, it shows me how much I can read given my busy life. So that's it. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video and this reading vlog, let me know. Comment down below because I will want to do this more often. It's just so fun to see how much I can really realistically read. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will catch you on my next one. Bye!